Howdy folks, this is Archer's Paradox. Good Thursday evening to you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to shoot the deer story today. It's about 12 degrees out. My new camera, I don't want to get to any condensation setup. But tonight, I've got a special treat. I'm going to teach you guys how to shoot back tension. Now, a common misnomer in the industry is that this is the only back tension release you can shoot. A lot of people don't realize, that you can shoot back tension with a simple caliper release. But if you want the truth, back tension can only be shot with a recurve bow. I can't find my finger glove or my tab, so I'm just going to use electrical tape. Excuse me. The whole concept of back tension is essentially you're holding the weight of the bow with your larger back muscles, okay? The execution of the shot is not so much a trigger finger, but it's actually the motion of pulling with your back muscles, and then letting your fingers release off the string. And the actual shot execution you'll see is that as my fingers come off the string, my entire shoulder and back collapse like that. I'll do a shot here and let's see what it looks like. Just like that. Now, I'm not going to try to convince you guys and gals out there to try to learn back tension. You know, if you're happy triggering your shot with your trigger finger, you know, just sitting there, and when you think your pin is somewhere near the spot or where you want to hit, if you want to go ahead and just pull the trigger like shooting a gun or a rifle, there's nothing wrong with that. I've got a buddy that has killed numerous Pope and Young bucks over the years in Ohio, and years ago I tried to teach him back tension and he just gave up. You know, it's very frustrating, you know, unless you make an effort to try to learn it. You know, if you go on archerytalk.com on the classified section, there's at least 2 or 3 pages of back tension releases that, you know, guys, they think, or gals think that the next back tension release is going to be their savior, when in fact they really haven't learned the correct technique of back tension. I'll show you a little quickie using a back tension with the caliper release. Like I said, you're not triggering the shot with your finger, so to speak. You're not doing this motion. You're actually letting your finger hang straight down at a 90-degree angle, and with the motion of pulling your back muscles and your shoulder and your arm backwards, you just rely on that force to release the trigger. Let me go ahead and I'll do a couple shots here so you can see it. So I'm just going to let my finger set on the trigger, try to keep it at a 90 degree. Now I'm going to just start pulling with my back and see how the explosion shot worked. Okay, so now finally we'll try the hook style or spike release. I'll show you that shot sequence. Okay, so now you guys and gals got to ask yourselves, why do I want to even learn back tension? Okay, well, you don't have to learn back tension if you don't want to. I started shooting back tension about 7 years ago, and it has made archery so much easier for me. The whole concept of back tension is that you're trying to eliminate all the variables in your shot execution. You look at any of the top tournament shooters or 3D shooters, you know, they all shoot some form of back tension. There's maybe, say, for a couple guys that are phenomenal command style shooters. Command meaning that, you know, they're gonna trigger their shot with their trigger finger and not so much relying on their larger muscles in their backs to actually initiate the shot. I've had comments on some of my videos You know, I posted a video on Archery Talk a couple months ago, and some guy was just kind of not making fun of him, but he was like, "Oh man, I can't take watching you. You're dropping your head at the shot, and you look so funny." And I just responded back with 2 words. I just said, well, or more than 2 words. I just said, well, you know what? That's just the tension in my back releasing. Okay. The whole concept behind back tension, like I said, is you want to eliminate as many variables as possible. There's 2 primary things to do when you're executing an archery shot, an accurately aimed at archery shot. Number 1 is you're aiming. Okay, just like shooting a rifle or a pistol, you're aiming at a specific spot that you want to hit. Well, in the course of aiming, okay, imagine if I'm aiming at that lens there, and the end of my finger is the pin. Well, you're not going to hold that bow perfectly steady, okay? So as your pin is floating in and out of the target zone, okay, the trouble with command shooters or people that just trigger with their index finger is that if their rhythm is off, okay, rhythm meaning, let's say you go out and shoot with your buddies or your gal friends, and you're shooting in the backyard, shooting at 20 yards. If your rhythm is on, just like my one buddy, he's a heck of a shot, okay? And rhythm related to timing. You know, if you notice, when I go through my shot routine, I always look straight down at my feet, because that comes back from the days when I played golf a lot. I make sure my alignment is where I need to be in relation to the target. I get my bow grip set on my bow, and then I start my shot sequence. All that to when I actually draw the bow, get the full draw, hit my anchor, find the front pin through the rear peep, and start steadying up. Okay, that takes a finite amount of time. If I'm off by, let's say, a second or half a second, so let's say I get distracted, or for whatever reason my rhythm is off, that's going to throw your whole shot sequence off. Because when you're sitting there back there at full draw, okay, and that pin is sitting there dancing around, floating around the pin, the command shooters, okay, the very best command shooters can time when they're gonna trigger the shot. Most people have a hard time with that. I mean, I shot pretty decent commanding the shot, but on occasion, like on the longer shots, if my timing was off, be it from nerves or a distraction, you know, timing meaning that when that pin is floating in and out of the target zone, and then you've heard guys say or gal say, I jerked the shot. You know, I just snapped the shot. Well, there's no way in heck, okay, that by the time your brain triggers all the nerves to reach the end of your finger, by the time that happens, and by the time that pin is floating in and out of your target zone, you're going to hit what you're aiming at. And aiming is key. That is key with back tension. Because what back tension does now is you're not consciously trying to trigger a shot. You're trying to maintain close to 100% focus on aiming, okay? So you've eliminated that second variable of triggering the shot. Now all your focus is on just aiming, okay? And it's amazing what the human body, the hand-eye coordination, when you have a pin centered in a peep, and if your form is good, your draw length is correct, and I've proven it before, that pin just naturally starts to settle down until it's dead on in the center of the spot. All the while, when you're just subconsciously pulling with your large muscles, okay, all of a sudden the shot just happens. It executes. And that's why when I shoot, when you see me collapse, it's almost exaggerated, because what happens, my large muscles, okay, from that tension I've held in the bow, all that just explodes into a shot. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody, because it is confusing. I mean, it takes, you know, it didn't take me as long as other people to learn, because I shot a recurve, all right, and you cannot shoot a recurve accurately unless you're using back tension. I mean, I've got a 61 pound compound bow with 80% let off. I'm only holding 12 pounds at full draw, okay? It's easy to hold 12 pounds on a caliper style release, a wrist release, or a back tension release. That's easy peasy. When you try to hold 55 pounds at full draw just with your fingers and wrists and aim accurately, that's not going to happen. I don't care how strong you are. So just to wrap it up, right now, it's almost March 1st. If you guys or gals want to learn back tension, okay, you know, go to your local shop. You know, they sell back tension releases there. Talk to somebody that does shoot back tension. If you have a friend in the league, in a bow league or 3D league, you know, just start asking them, you know, how do I learn back tension? I'm kind of curious. You know, my groups are okay, but I want to get better. I want to take it to the next level. You know, watch this video. You know, hopefully I've informed some of you guys and gals on what back tension is about. The bottom line is it's all about getting better at archery. You know, we can all improve as archers, without a doubt. So anyways, this is Archer's Paradox, and I apologize. It was so cold out I couldn't bring my deer story, but I'm going to try tomorrow after work or maybe Saturday. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video, and we'll see you later. And my new camcorder, I've got a nice little remote control. Bye-bye.